Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm talking about the Indianapolis Colts, one of my favorite teams to talk about, and go over whether or not I think they should look into re-signing pass rusher Justin Houston. But before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing, I want you to put your GM hat on, and theoretically, if you were starting an NFL team and you were the GM, who are you taking to start or to build your squad around? Is it Darius Leonard on defense or Quentin Nelson on offense? Two guys that are top tier at their position. Who are you going with, Nelson or Leonard? Comment down below and I'll give my answer at the end. Getting straight into it though, Justin Houston, a guy that is a free agent, played with the Colts the past 2 years, long time Kansas City Chiefs, one of the better pass rushers, future Hall of Famer for sure, in my opinion. He's had 8 sacks last year, 11 sacks the year before, yet he's still not with the Colts. Should they re-sign him? You could argue that the Colts don't really need him. They got Darius Leonard. The secondary is pretty decent. Xavier Rhodes, underrated Kenny Moore up front. They kind of, I don't want to say exactly replaced him, but somewhat replaced him. They got Kwity Paye, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Dio Odengbo. That's what I'm going to say, Dio Odengbo. They took him in the second round. Those 2 pass rushers they took just this year with DeForest Buckner, with Tyquan Lewis. You could argue they don't need Justin Houston. He's older. He's going to probably be expensive, and the necessity is it's just not there. On offense, you're pretty stout as well. The defense is one of the premier ones in the league. They're top 10 with the upside of being top 5 in my opinion. And the offense is coming together as well. Carson Wentz, obviously we know about that trade. Great coach and Frank Reich. Great front office and GM. The backfield's pretty set. Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines, solid O-line, receivers. I have my question marks about them, but I do think in time they will develop, especially if Michael Pittman could take his step forward. Zach Pascal, T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell, Jack Doyle. You could argue this team is a playoff team with or without Justin Houston. Just in my opinion, though, if you're looking at Justin Houston as an investment on your squad, as far as how much he will benefit your team, the risk to reward just really favors reward in this one. I just don't get what the loss is in Justin Houston. If you were to sign him, what do you lose? Of course, if he went down, there might be a couple $1 million wasted if he got hurt. But to already have roughly $15 million in cap space, he's up there in age. You could sign him for just a 1 more year prove-it deal for probably under $10 million, probably in the single digits, I think he would take it for. I just don't see what the absolute downside is. You don't need him every single play. You don't need him every single down, 17 games a year. He could be a rotational player. He could be a situational player. Just him rotating in and out with Kwity Paye, with Odeyabingo, that's what I'm calling him, Odangbo. Sorry on the pronunciation on that one. I'm struggling with it. DeForest Buckner, you could argue you don't need him, like I said, but I just think between switching him out with the rookies, with DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard, throw them all in on the blitz. He's got experience. He's still got talent. He's still got upside. He's still got some numbers on him. He didn't have 1 sack last year, 0 sacks last year, 8 last year, and 11 the year before. He's still got some gas in the tank. And of course, you could say, well, he went from 11 to 8. But the cat is getting older. You're not signing him expecting him to get 15 sacks or reach 20 sacks like he did one point in time. But again, I just don't see the loss here if you were signing him. If you sign him, of course, that could be money that you could maybe put elsewhere. I just don't see as big of another name in free agency right now. Unless they're looking at a Todd Gurley, which they don't need. If they maybe want a Steven Nelson cornerback, which I'm actually kind of for, if they want to at least consider it. I'm just saying, if they're still shopping around the free agent market, why wouldn't you bring back a guy you're already familiar with? You know what you're going to get out of him, and he could be even better. Who's to say if you had Darius Leonard and Kwity Paye and DeForest Buckner all rush in, that Justin Houston can't now win a one-on-one matchup. If he was double-teamed before, now that he's got a one-on-one matchup, he might be able to get you double-digit sacks again. And double-digit sacks isn't out of this realm, especially since he got 8 last year. He'll have more help this year and more games this year. And I get it, older, injury concerns possibly, money concern possibly, but I just don't see the loss. There is no way in my mind the Colts actually could sign him and there's zero benefit. The upside is up to here and the loss is this big. Personally, I get you could argue that the pass rush in the front 4 is crowded, but to me, Justin Houston is a guy that could really bump up your team being a top 10 defense to a top 5 defense. And all of a sudden, if Kwity Paye pans out, if Dio Odengbo if Justin Houston shows he's still got gas in the tank, he wants to solidify his Hall of Fame case, you could have, I'm not saying the best pass rush in the NFL, but you could be up there, Like I said, Darius Leonard, he's not really a pass rusher, but you guys know what I mean. Kwity Paye, Odayo Dangbo, DeForest Buckner, Justin Houston, Tyquan Lewis. That's kind of up there with the Washingtons, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, a Buccaneer, Shaq Barrett, JPP, Vita Vea, and Ndamukong Suh. I'm not saying it's meeting it to the nth degree, but I'm just saying it's definitely one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. I just don't get it. I would sign him. Of course, if he's demanding $10, $15, $20 million, then I'm going to pass. I don't know what he's looking for. He's already visited with the Steelers. There was rumors he signed there. Personally, I don't think that'll happen just because they went on and signed Melvin Ingram. But the Steelers, that's a big one. If they could get TJ Watt, Justin Houston, Melvin Ingram, Stephon Tuitt, Cameron Hayward, Devin Bush, that's a scary front seven that I don't think the Colts, I'm not saying they're going to face each other, they're not in the division, but I just think the Colts right now could not necessarily use the help in pass rush. It's not that they're struggling, but I just think every little player counts now, especially in this division where them and the Titans are kind of neck and neck. An extra Hall of Fame guy on your team that's got some gas left in the tank, just got a little bit of juice left in him, could really help you push out an extra win in the division, pull out a division rival. His experience, his knowledge, his wisdom, the mentorship he could provide for Kwity Paye and Odayo Dangbo is worth it to me. The mentorship is an extra factor that I really didn't mention. I think he could really help these younger guys develop. Therefore, if I'm the Colts, I would 100% sign him today, giving the right cost. I'm not paying $15 million for him. I'm not paying $10 million for him. If he's willing to take the single digits, one last year, prove-it deal, maybe a 2-year, $10 million deal, I just think the Colts are a dark horse Super Bowl team with Wentz, with Jonathan Taylor, with Leonard, with Quentin Nelson, with Michael Pittman, Xavier Rhodes, Kenny Moore, DeForest Buckner, yada, yada, yada. I think they're a dark horse Super Bowl team. You throw in Justin Houston, this team makes it to the playoffs. That is not a defense. That's not an offense. This is not a team I want to play. Therefore, I think they should go out there and sign them. You guys tell me, do you agree or disagree, though? I get both thoughts in a sense, but I strongly believe they should really sign him. But maybe you guys have some comment, opinion, or take that I'm just not thinking off the top of my head. I'm really open to see what you guys say. It could change my mind. I'm open to it. I'm unbiased. I'm willing to change my mind. Referring back to the question asked in the beginning of the video, who am I taking if I'm a GM and I'm starting my team? Am I taking Darius Leonard to captain and surround my defense with, or am I taking Quentin Nelson to build my offense around? It's really hard. I would probably go Quentin Nelson just because he is arguably not just the best guard in the league, he's arguably the best offensive lineman in the NFL. And while Darius Leonard is a top linebacker in the NFL, I think everyone agrees Quentin Nelson is the hands down top tier dude on any offensive line. And he's going to be protecting this most important position on my field, QB. So I'm taking Quentin Nelson, but I don't think there's a wrong answer either way. You guys tell me, do you agree or disagree? As always, of course, thank you for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.